Yo.
Hey, welcome to the new meta, episode 130.
130?
That is a lot.
That is a lot. Like, legit.
Yeah.
We are consistent. No content, but we are consistent.
We consistently make content from nothing. we are kind of like Jesus. You know, we turned water into wine.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
We really are. True.
Just think about if we double this, like this has been a lot of episodes. If we double this, we're still only at 260.
If we double this and we still don't have Diablo 4,
then what?
I'm fucking dead.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll be shit, man. We'll be old. We'll be definite boomers with walking and stuff.
Did you get that email from Twitch that was like, oh, this is what you streamed and blah blah blah?
Yeah.
We should talk about it. We should talk about it.
I got one that's like what I streamed.
Yeah, viewer.
And then I got one that what I watched.
Yeah. We'll have to talk about that at the end.
It's funny. It wasn't even accurate though.
What? What do you mean it's not accurate? Of course it's accurate.
No, like we'll talk about it. It's okay. It's like it told me that I like PoE was like my top 3 streamed games. And like, no, there's no way. There's absolutely no way.
Yeah, there is, because you're a fucking variety streamer. What do you mean?
No, dude, there's no way I streamed more PoE than Diablo and WoW, and like, did I stream a crap ton of WoW this last year?
Did you?
Yeah, man. I did a solid month straight when Shadowlands hit. I didn't even stream anything else.
You've streamed every league start, pretty much, besides Harvest, I think.
I didn't play Heist. And then what was after Harvest? So if we go backward, it was Heist, then Harvest.
Yeah. And
I didn't play the one before that either.
I don't know. I think you did.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, we'll talk about it though.
All right.
So we got what did we do for the old poll? I don't even remember. This week has been crazy.
Yeah, so it's gonna tie into our first topic. We'll let you guys vote on it one more time. But last week we asked, click the button. We know we're getting a 4th class reveal at BlizzConline, which is just 1 month away officially.
I kind of forgot about that until I started seeing, I saw you talking it up in the schedule a little bit. I'm like, oh yeah,
dude,
it's crazy. January's almost.
I know. What the hell? Anyway, so yeah. We know we're getting the 4th class reveal because they mentioned in the quarterly update of Diablo 4 that we'll get a new campfire scene, which is their way of, I don't know why instead of Blizzard actually saying what they mean, they always do like the riddles. But yeah, so we're gonna get the 4th class reveal. And then we asked, what else do you hope that they unveil? Like big things. And so just a quick poll of Reddit. We added the options of 1, an endgame activity, 2, PvP details, 3, itemization upgrades. So like another iteration of itemization, which are always like the most controversial, obviously. Or 4, skill tree upgrades. What do you think won, and what do you want?
Endgame activity probably won. For me, it's all of the above, but honestly, man, I'm kind of hyped for some PvP news. Like I want to see that they're not screwing it up, and I want to see that they listen to the podcast and they put a BR mode in. I really do. Do you think if they put a BR, you think they would tell us? You think that would be a feature that they would announce ahead of time, or like hype up, or you think they would downplay that?
I don't know. I would think they would downplay it, maybe, because I think a lot of people would view it as a meme until they tried it.
I think so too. But I'm afraid, like, I think it could be good though. If they could spin a trailer on that, or maybe have somebody showcase it and like, this is how it's gonna work, like some kind of trailer. I think people would be like, oh, that does look pretty sick.
Yeah. Damn.
Go ahead. I'm gonna go in-game activity 1 though.
Okay.
But PvP is my vote.
Gotcha. Am I still? Are you still recording me? By the way, I'm getting feedback.
I am. Sorry.
Okay, you're good. I just want to make sure. But yeah, so I agree with you with the fact that endgame activity, that's probably one. If we looked at that Reddit post from a couple weeks ago, whenever that was, like everybody and their mom wanted endgame details. So that probably one. But I'm definitely with you is in the sense that, PvP, it was interesting. I was watching Quinn the other day, and like he was talking about the things he loves about like PvE versus like, WoW, and basically WoW, he's only really playing for, the loot, like to basically progress his PvP, right? Like he just wants the PvP. And then PvE is like everything else. You know what I mean? Like it's the content, it's the grinding, it's like all of that is good. And there's no PvP in PvE. So yeah, I definitely could see that a universe, right? Come with me for a minute, if you will, where we're all playing PvE 2 for content, but we play Diablo for PvP. So I think that's definitely a possibility.
That's if they don't screw PvP up.
Exactly.
I'm down.
Right.
Like I'm so scared though about it. And I was talking to Chad about it a little bit because Diablo 4 gets brought up all the time. And I'm like, I sound negative when I say this, and I don't want us to come off negative. I want the game to be good so bad, and I'm nervous that I haven't seen enough information that pushes me in a positive direction where I'm like, yeah, they're nailing it. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Like most of the stuff we've seen since the BlizzCon 2019 reveal hasn't been in the right direction, except for this last blog update was better. I don't think it was like, oh my God, this is like,
saved.
Yeah, it's going to be the best game ever. It's just like, okay, they're going in the right direction, or they're starting to go the right direction.
Yeah.
But like, we don't know anything about PvP. Only thing we know is that they said that they're designing the game with PvP from the ground up. That's really the only thing I remember from it. And it's just like in like PvP enabled zones.
Yeah.
But that's it. And I'm just like, dude, that could be horrible. There could be like, PvP is in this one zone, you can play King of the Hill or something, capture a flag and hold it down. It's like, what? And you're going to run in with your 10 billion DPS build and just one shot the player? Like, how's it going to work, man? So
it could be like Immortal. Immortal had that one zone that had the BR basically once every 3 hours.
Yeah, it'd be so bad.
Yeah.
So I hope that they nail it, man. I hope that they put in some game modes. How would you want it? Would you want PvP to work like World of Warcraft, where it's like a battleground style system, match up and capture the flag, match up in like deathmatch, BR? Like what kind of modes do you want?
I think WoW does it okay. Like I think it would be really a mistake not to have open world PvP in some form. And I also think, like a organized like 4v4 arena that's competitive would be good.
So I've been playing Red Dead a little bit the last month or so, and Red Dead has a system where you can become a bounty hunter and you pay money, and it's a PvE activity, and you run around and you capture bounties and you take them to jail. You can either kill them and take them in dead, or you can capture them alive, which is more difficult, and take them in and get more money. But they added this thing where if a player gets a bounty on them from committing crimes, you get points tallied up, and then eventually you have a monetization value tied to it. And when their bounty gets high enough, it'll notify people who have the bounty license in the game, and you can literally go after this PvP player and try to capture them.
Yeah.
And so as I'm out doing PvE activities, it'll pop up and say there's a bounty close to you. Do you want to track them? And I'm just like, it doesn't happen often, like maybe once a day, once every 2 days. But when it happens, man, it is so much fun and so hype. And I'm just like, oh shit, there's a bounty, like, let's get them. And it totally transforms whatever I'm doing into this super fun activity. And so the free roam open world stuff needs to be there, because Diablo 4 is going to have it. Like if you're out in the wild and you're just, especially if they try to keep the servers as scarce as they are, like they talk about how they have the ability to, what did they say? Like 30 people or something, 20 something people, 30 people in an area. Maybe I think they said a number, but I don't remember, but it was a lot. But they're like, we're not going to have it set up that way. It's going to be scarce. It's going to be rare to find somebody in the open world. We want it to feel empty and hollow and all this. And so I'm like, that's cool. If we can, if we're out in this area and we don't see people, and then all of a sudden you see a guy and you're like, okay, am I friending this dude, or am I killing him and taking his loot? You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know, man. It can be so much fun. So I hope that they nail PvP. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the one thing WoW doesn't have, I don't think WoW has that PvP mode that necessarily that's just like super fun that you can just jump into. I mean, that might be Battlegrounds for some people, but
yeah, I like Battlegrounds a lot, but a lot of people don't. I think there's a huge divide there.
Yeah.
Like I jump in and can play Battlegrounds for a couple hours and I have a blast. Usually I have a blast. And especially if you have a buddy that's a healer. A healer and a DPS usually mix really well. But some people, like a lot of people on my chat will come in and be like, man, I can't do Battlegrounds. I never play them. I suck at it. I don't know where to start. It's kind of like that PoE mentality. Like, because I've been getting this a lot as I've been playing, is people like, man, the game's too complicated. I don't know where to start. I don't understand. And my thing is like, just play. Like, just get in a battleground and play. And if somebody kills you, pay attention to what, like, look at it. What do they do to you? You know, if you don't know, try to figure it out. And then you can learn like, oh, how do I counter this? How do I avoid this? So, but yeah, I think it'd be fun. The problem I have in open world PvP, you're going to have all your PvE stuff on and all your PvE abilities on. And if they don't have open world, then they can literally tailor all the abilities and class. You can get like default layouts. Like, okay, I'm going to play Necro in this D4 PvP mode. It's going to give me this default layout, this default skills, or maybe I get choices of skills, but they can do different things than they do in PvE. And that balance would be probably fun, but it could suck. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely tough. Yeah, and you know, like we meme on the BR all the time, but I think it's just like the BR gameplay style just lends itself to just being friendly to noobs, to just be enjoyable. So, you know, I'd obviously say one of each, but obviously that's a lot of work. So I would say PvP details as well, basically. Yeah, the TLDR.
They could even copy, like, man, I don't know. Have I talked about Division survival mode that they did? And I think this would fit over. I think we've talked about this way in some of the early podcast episodes, where they can drop us down naked, and then we have to put builds together to do some kind of PvP or PvE oriented goal. Like, okay, here's the thing: you have to go kill this person,
like the Dark Zone or whatever.
Yeah, like the Dark Zone, exactly. And then, but in that though, they have PvE versions of it where you can't fight other players, and they have PvP versions where if we see another team, we can kill them and take their loot too. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the end game goal is to get an item first, or get an item and extract that item, or go kill a boss or something. But you start out naked, and it's like build your build. So it doesn't even have to be a BR like we're the last team standing. It could also be a PvEVP, like go get the item, but you can kill other people too if you want.
Sure.
And then they can even separate that off and take the PvP portion out for those people that are like, man, I can't stand PvP. I just want to I just want to do the Simon Says, you know?
Yeah. That'd be dope.
So, all right, who won? Who did we get?
Endgame activity is 41% of the vote, but 40% of the vote is PvP details.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. Skill tree upgrades got 14% of the vote, and itemization upgrades 5%. So we're burned out on the disappointing itemization updates.
people that want that tree are just praying. They're like, please, like fix the tree. Like, I saw the tree. Can you fix the tree?
Right.
So
yeah, it's surprising. Maybe just people are starting to share our opinion. Just do what we do. Good job. And then the poll for next week, which is not Diablo theme, which I know, you know, the YouTube people, you guys are gonna freak out and be upset, but we want to know what you think about the new Echoes/Ritual PoE expansion. Poggers, meh, or worst league ever.
We're not going to talk about it this episode, so you guys.
We're not going to talk about PoE. Oh, sure. Right. Oh, it's going to be real short. But yeah, yes. Getting into.
Well, yeah, let's go to the Diablo stuff first.
Yeah,
the thing. So we talked a little bit about it's 1 month away.
Yeah.
From the TwitchConline.
Blizzard officially tweeted today. You know, we talked about, they'd kind of mentioned a pre-announcement of the announcement last week, and so this week we got the announcement of the announcement, and then, you know, hopefully with it next week we'll have some information, or hopefully soon. I'm actually kind of surprised
they give us much, man.
Nothing at all. Just gonna be like, hey, watch.
I think they'll give us some little things, but I think it's gonna be a lot of hey, watch.
No, but it's 2 days. There's no way there's gonna be like, watch, please. And he's like,
you think they'll give us a schedule?
I would hope. I guess that'd be the big brain play because it would like everyone would be in the Blizzard stream and like just watching, waiting for their game.
What happens? Yeah.
Instead of like, oh, I need to tune in at 4 o'clock. But that'd be really annoying for people like me that just like I don't want to watch other Blizzard.
I think if they do a schedule, it will be like a couple days before. I don't think it's going to be weeks in advance this time. Because what if they shift things? I think they're probably still working on it, you know?
Yeah.
I would imagine it's going to be a lot of pre-recorded footage this time, so they don't have any live mishaps and it's edited perfectly and they have, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like this is going to be a trailer show, not like a live event. But we'll see. I hope I'm wrong. I like the live stuff, man.
For sure.
But I just feel like they're going to be like, hey, you know, here's Wyatt talking about Diablo Immortal, and he's going to say, hey guys, it's Wyatt, nice to meet you, and or whatever. Things are going awesome and the team's doing good. Check out this stuff from Immortal, and then boom, a video is going to play for like 5 minutes.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then it's going to cut back to some host, and he's going to be like, oh, that was really cool, Wyatt, thanks. You know, and like, now let's hear from, you know, the Diablo 4 team, and then it'll be like, hey guys, things have been going good. We tested stuff, and we got a new class to reveal. Check it out. Boom, trailer of the new class. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I feel it's going to go down. But
yeah, again, you know, my biggest concern with BlizzConline this whole time has been that lack of, you know, community interaction. That's like is like potential when we can't go to BlizzCon. So yeah, I mean, I think that recently PoE did it really well, where they did the announcement and they just showed a couple trailers that were pre-recorded, like you said, and then at the end it was like Chris Wilson. He did live QA with Ziggy. Yeah. And like
my favorite is like the Siri announcement from Apple when they first did Siri, and they're like, he gets up there and he's like, you know, hey Siri, blah blah blah, and it like completely doesn't work. It just sits there and spins. And it's Steve Jobs is up there, and he's like trying to do the thing.
I don't remember that at all.
And then he's like, he has to get a different phone, or he's like, everybody turn your Wi-Fi off. Everybody turn your Wi-Fi off. Like he was demoing, and so the whole crowd had to turn their phones off and stuff.
Wow,
it's funny. But yeah, you know, we'll see what BlizzConline has. Playable D4 demo. I'm banking on it. It's been a year, man.
Playable D4 demo. You're out of your mind.
Playable D4 demo.
But D4 I don't know, man. There's no way they could do that. I would hope that they would at least maybe do like streamers.
They did get a play World of Warcraft Classic demo.
That was, yeah, BlizzCon.
No, they let people at home play too.
Really?
It was on battle.net. You could install
that was like a game that was already out for like literal years. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I would be so scared.
They let everybody play. What's going to happen? Like they're going to steal the code. I guess they could data mine the code.
Yeah, and then they could like prepare the bot programs.
Like, yeah, true. They could data mine and see like levels and stuff. How could you encrypt the shit out of that so they couldn't steal it, so they couldn't data mine it?
I would probably just do like, okay, well, we'll have some streamers play it, and then we'll make them sign NDAs or whatever. But
right.
I don't know, man. I obviously that feels bad for everybody else, but like if I'm Blizzard and I'm like, I don't want people to fucking hack my shit.
It feels bad for me if they don't give me a copy. Like if they do streamers, they better hook me up. If I'm sitting there watching.
We are like, the last on the on the totem pole of popular Blizzard game streamers. We are not on that list.
We're not on a good list.
Well, I might be, but I mean you're fucked. But
yeah, I think I am.
But yeah, that's pretty much, I mean, all that's going on in Diablo, right?
I think so. People are starting to clamor on the forums a lot, and like, you know, there's some posts that are getting a little bit of traction, some pages and some replies about, you know, are we going to keep getting info? There's nobody talking on the forums. When's season 22 going to be over? When are we getting PTR? Things like that. And I guess the PTR talk usually starts about this time, about halfway through the season. Because right now, I think, when did the season start? November. Do you remember? It was November 19th, I want to say, 2 months ago. Was that right?
Was it Thanksgiving weekend or something?
I think WoW dropped Thanksgiving weekend. So WoW dropped the Monday of Thanksgiving week. So that puts Diablo the Friday before, which would have been the 19th, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So if it dropped November 19th, it's been exactly 2 months. So 4 months away from the normal accepted 3-month season, right? So if PTR hit today, then we'd have 2 weeks of testing, 2 weeks of downtime for them to patch and implement more changes, and then it would push live. So we already know this isn't going to be a 3-month season.
Right.
So, I mean, what are we looking at? You know, are we gonna a 6-month season is gonna start to be the norm?
I mean, I would think with this one is they're gonna probably plan stuff around BlizzConline. I don't know. So like,
I
oh,
don't think so, too.
they're gonna make all these announcements and then be like, oh, and then right now you get to play PTR for the upcoming Diablo 3 season where we're adding, 10 new legendaries or something.
You
Who
think?
knows?
I don't know, man.
Who
I don't
knows?
know, man.
It is
It's
a bit
scary.
quiet. It is like, they hired more community managers, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But it is a little quiet. But at the same time, we just did the Diablo Immortal, and I'm sure there's a ton of work and like digging through. I'm sure you saw the Discord for all the people that were testing.
Yeah.
It's a wall of text.
Yeah, for sure. They did a lot of Immortal testing. They did they gave us some good juice on D4. I feel like it was a good post. So we're getting info. It's not quiet, but it's just like the D3. Like Matt was so like on it when BlizzCon 19 happened, and it was just like I was like, oh, this is gonna be hot, and it just feels like it's fizzled out. The hype has fizzled out a little bit, and it's just okay. We're back to like we're gonna get 6-month updates and a couple number tweaks on sets. The seasonal theme ideas, I seem like they've put a lot of effort in the seasonal theme ideas. Good or bad for the game. I feel like a lot of energy is going there. Would you want them to devote some of that energy away from the seasonal themes and more into balancing and item changes?
I mean, yes, I would prefer, every skill to be usable in some way, shape, or form. Every set has like several good builds would be the dream. I think more ways to play is better than like a gimmick way to play every league. But then, every season you're changing how you play. So it depends on who you ask. Like if you ask, we had Wudiju on that one time and he's like, oh yeah, seasonal themes, 100%.
Yeah.
But I think if you ask both of us, we're both like, well, maybe more ways to play.
Yeah, I agree. This seasonal theme, the Shadow Clones, has been cooler than I expected it to be. I actually like it more, and I think it's more noob friendly, which is a good thing for the game's health. I feel like at this point, but yeah, man, I want more sets. Like I'm just the burnout is happening faster for me than it ever has. Like when new season hits, and it used to be like 2 months. I could do it for 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, and now it's like 4 weeks. Is like I'm like, man, okay, I'm ready for something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then on top of that, we're not getting the seasons on 3-month cycles anymore. It feels like it's going to be 5 to 6 month cycles. So on top of that, it's like okay, so we get a month of good season, fresh season, and then it's like okay, well, see ya. I'll check back in a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's just like I want Diablo juice so bad, and I know D4 is so far away.
I know.
It's like, come on, man.
It's crazy too because like playing this new PoE league, which I am unhealthily addicted to. It makes me like it just makes me remember those moments in Diablo where I actually was like addicted. All I wanted to do was like get on and play more Diablo.
Yeah, dude.
Like Reapers of Soul vanilla was like I couldn't stop playing for like months and months. Necro came out, loved it, couldn't stop playing. But
season 11 and 12, it was insane. Like when they did the big balance patch season for season 11 and 12, I remember like 2 or 3 weeks in the season waking up on a Saturday morning and I'm like, I'm just like running to the computer. I'm like, boom, we're grinding. We got to get this stuff, So I'm like, yo, Wrath, let's go like messaging people. Let's get some teams. Like this is the shit. Let's do it. So I don't know, man. I hope that they can bring that back somehow. But maybe they'll give us some juice on BlizzConline. I don't know. They already kind of did the new sets thing, what they gave us at 19. I don't know if they would roll out new sets again. I don't think the game could handle new sets again. You know what I mean? I almost want them to prune stuff. It's like, can we prune the game to make it run better too? So
can we, rather than adding new sets, I would definitely like to see every legendary that's in the game be valuable in some way rather than adding new sets.
Speaking of pruning stuff, did you get pruned to some items in the PoE league start on these rollbacks and crashes and disconnects?
Oh, I did actually.
You lose some juice?
I did. One of the problems they have with the PoE League start is if like the constant crashes, and sometimes those crashes meant rollbacks. And what could happen sometimes with that is either one is your shit gets duped, which is pretty cool. That's good. To the people that happen. Yeah. But two, your shit would get deleted. And that happened to me a couple times, actually. I would like orb of augment a weapon and hit like attack speed and be like, yes! And then immediately crash and come back and aug again, and it'd be like mana. I was like, oh.
You're like, no.
So
don't do me.
That feels bad. But it's leveling. But I will say, right? So if we're getting into the PoE League start.
Okay, let's do it.
Wow. What a shit show. It was so weird for me because the last two have been maybe not smooth in the sense of like the league mechanics and how good they were or whatever, but like as far as performance for me, the last couple have been like very smooth, like maybe a couple crashes opening weekend. I think I maybe not even, look, this is not even exaggeration. I crashed over 30 times the first night alone.
Wow. So I didn't get to play on launch. Their launches suck for me. Diablo launches are pretty good at 7 p.m. That works out well. PoE with them being across the globe.
It fucks me over too.
It's like they launch at 1 p.m. and it's like I got kids coming home from school, got to get them to practice, got to make dinners, all this stuff, right? So I started at 9 p.m. my normal go time, and by then I think a lot of that was 8 hours of people going to bed, not playing anymore, or whatever, and then them ironing out bugs or whatever the case was. So I think on opening night I crashed like 2 or 3 times. And then, rolled back. One of the times it did do it like right as I killed something. I don't even remember if it was like a act boss or something. And I was like, oh man, I got to do that shit again. Luckily I didn't have to do it again. It still saved my stuff. But yeah, man, it was, I don't have a lot of PoE under my belt, but this one definitely crashed a lot on me. So
yeah, it was really, really bad. Saturday was the same situation for me. I crashed like maybe 15 times. Sunday was like maybe a few times. Yesterday was like once. So it does seem to be getting much, much better. But
it was once for me yesterday too. So it's not bad. People in my chat were saying they were crashing a lot. I'm using the Vulkan engine. Are you using the Vulkan renderer? Yeah. I was wondering if that had anything to do with it. So, but other than that, it's been fun. What do you think about the new Ritual League mechanic?
I love it so far. During leveling I got a Quill Rain and a Tabula Rasa, which like best in slot Toxic Rain leveling items. So like just able to kind of fly through rituals and kill stuff really fast, and it was really strong. It felt good. I will say now it feels like it's becoming more of like, I'm just getting I'm gonna buy currency at the end of the map because nothing I ever see in it is like any good.
It's good anymore. Yeah.
And we're pushing like right now we're kind of farming T12, T13 ish in the area. Progressing the Atlas very slowly, but yeah, it's been a really long time since I saw something. I say it's day 5, but
right.
I haven't really seen anything like that cool since like the first day. But other than that, I've gotten like 5 Tabula Rasas this league, which is
really
unethical. Drops have been really good. I think that the ritual, it combos really well with Delirium. And so you can get some like pretty insane rewards there. So I've been loving that mechanic. What have you thought about the ritual so far?
It's been interesting. So from somebody who doesn't really know a lot what's going on, as I did it, I think it gave a player like me who's newer access to things that they wouldn't know where to get. But otherwise, I've gotten a ton of uniques, which is never the case prior to this. Like, every time you do the ritual, it seems like there's a unique in there you can pick out, which aren't really good for me. But since I'm doing Trade League, I've been selling them. And so for me, it's given me an influx of currency to be able to buy things that are actually useful for my build. And And so that's been cool. I've also been getting chaos orbs and things like that, leveling up from them. And so as the leveling process was going, I was stacking up some, which again let me buy things in Trade League. So it's definitely an influx of items for trade, if nothing else, because people like myself who don't know what they're doing are getting items, and I don't really have to know what their value is with some of the tools. You can just, check values of items, put them up for the going rate, and then boom, you got free currency out of those, even if you didn't get currency to pick from. But kind of like you, I haven't gotten anything super crazy useful for my build, but I have gotten a lot of currency, which I've been able to buy things. So at the end, if there's nothing good, I'm just taking the currency. I'm like, oh, cool, I got some free alchemy orbs, I got some free chaos orbs, whatever, out of this. So
I do think it's incredibly big brain. Like the ritual idea itself is so smart, because you're going to see that thing eventually. They're like, I really want that. And so you defer it, and you see it again, you defer it. Like, it's going to be that little carrot that you're just like always chasing. Like, I got to do another map, do another map.
And I had to figure out how those mechanics worked without like going and just looking it up. And that was kind of fun to me to figure out exactly, because it's like, okay, if I drag mobs to the totem and kill them, does that give me more currency? And then it was like, nah, it didn't. At first I was like, maybe it did.
Yeah, right.
But then as I kept testing, I'm like, I don't think it is. But it didn't make sense, because I'm like, one time I do one and I get like 200 ritual currency, or what, I don't know what the currency is called.
Tribute.
And then the next time I would get like, like 1,300 or 1,600, and I'm like, how did I get so much? And then it was like, and then I finally figured out, oh, the more you do it, you get to kill the mobs over. And so, but I was like dragging mobs to it for a little bit to see if that made a difference. And then it's like, okay, so I deferred this item. Like, how do I know if I need to defer it again? Is it going to stay there, and the next time it pops up? Like, how does this work? And then you start noticing the primal portrait around the outside for it. I'm like, okay, that means I'm going to lose it if I don't defer it again, and shit like that. So there's been times where it's like, okay, I have enough to buy this item that I want, but if I don't defer this other item I want, it's going to go away. Yeah. So you're like, so you have to defer. I'm like, well, I got to defer them both now, Yeah. So it's cool. It makes you make choices. It gives you chances for loot, especially for newer players. I think it gives you chances at loot that you don't normally get. And I actually enjoy it. It's my favorite league mechanic that I've experienced so far, which isn't a lot, but it's my favorite one. I definitely like it more than Harvest. I definitely like it more than, was it Legion, where you had to click the frozen dudes?
Yeah.
It's and the shadow. What was that? Delirium was the shadow area one, right? Where shit goes black and white. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The mist, the fog.
Yeah. So I like it more than those. So,
okay. That's good.
I still like delving a lot too, which, I haven't done a lot of it, but I did it just, as the intro quest. It's like, go delve. I'm like, all right, fine. So
I hate early delving so much before you get the darkness res.
Yeah, we'll see if I end up hating it. You know what I mean? But as of right now,
it gets good. It's just, I honestly hate like when you get that quest and you do it, through the campaign or whatever, and you have to do those like early nodes, and you have like negative darkness res, negative light radius.
Yeah,
I hate that. Like just getting the Azerite you need to just get to your standard. I hate that so much. Because I want to like go, I'm like, oh yeah, let's go down here real quick. But it's like you fucking die instantly if you veer away from the cart at first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was kind of playing with that. I'm like, how far I'm like, I'm not taking damage. This is cool. Like, how far can I? And then all of a sudden it's like your health just starts to drop and like I'm like, oh shit, get back. Yeah. Like, okay, I'm not doing that again. Just kidding. So
what was funny though, was this weekend, I think it was like Sunday, is they had to actually disable trade. So for a while in Ritual, everyone was SSF, and it was
why did they disable trade?
I don't know. They just had to do something
weird.
Yeah. So weird. For a moment, everyone ascended to SSF.
That's part of the thing that we're so different in, because you always play SSF, and I played SSF the last couple leagues, taking your advice. And this one, I was like, okay, let's try Trade League and see how it plays out. And I think there's a lot of validity in the arguments you make that you'll be a better player at the game if you play SSF, because you're forced to learn mechanics that you can kind of get around with Trade League.
Yeah.
But I'm having a lot of fun playing the Trade League, and it's fun to me to get those first couple trades, get an item that's actually worth some currency, to sell it, and then be like, now I can upgrade my character with XYZ. I can go buy this thing that I want. And that's been a lot of fun, actually, more fun than I really expected it to be. Because now it's got me on this thing where if I get like, I don't know unique values. So when a unique drops, inherently I don't know it. So I don't know if is this good? Is this bad? And I can look at it and I'm starting to be able to figure like, oh, this has got some desirable stats for these couple builds I've played in the past. Maybe this will be worth something, and you can ID or check the value and sell it. And so that's been a lot of fun. I've actually been enjoying playing the trading game a little bit. But it does slow me down a lot because I'll be out doing something and then I get a message like, hey, I want to buy your XYZ item. And I'm like, okay, hold on. Let me go port to town, invite it to a party, do the whole, like it needs an auction house. I don't understand how this guy doesn't, or how this game doesn't have an auction house built into it. Like they have everything except for the interface. They just make you go to their website. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, just want to sell Hideout cosmetics.
What do you mean?
Well, you have to go to Hideout to trade.
Okay, so put the auction house in your hideout. Yeah,
but then no one sees your hideout besides you.
Oh, all right. So there's got to be a way to remedy this.
I'm not saying that this is a problem. I'm just saying this is why they do it.
The auction house is automated, but when you buy it, you have to go to the seller's hideout to pick it up out of the mailbox they put in there.
I guess. As long as it's like a one-click button, I don't know. I hate that.
I don't know, man. I understand. I didn't think about that. That is a pay to show. Yeah. I actually asked my chat. I asked them. I said, has anybody spent some big time cheese to juice your hideout up? And they were like, absolutely.
Really?
I'm like, yeah, they've spent money, big money.
I haven't spent a dime on anything really but alternate skill effects. That's my jam. I know. I will say so PoE recently added a loot box. And this actually triggers me. I really, really hate this. And they've added skill effects into the loot box that you can only get through the loot box.
Oh, man. That's horrible, dude. Random loot box?
Yep.
Fuck that, dude. I refuse, absolutely never in my life will I ever spend money on a loot box.
Agreed.
I will buy things straight up. If something has a direct purchase option, then I can assess if that value is worth the money to me personally to buy it. But I will never randomly buy a loot box.
Yep.
Ever.
Yeah.
Like I will never do it.
And they had like a really cool shield charge skill effect that is like, wow, that looks amazing. But the fact is, it's behind a loot box. There's no way I'm ever going to even consider dropping a dime on that. Versus if it was like, $5-10, I would completely buy it outright. No question.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of the same. Where I would I wouldn't spend money on the loot box. There are some things in the game. Like I did you get the Twitch drop wings by chance? Did you go to the
I haven't looked event? Actually. Yeah, I hate wings. So like, I actually hate wings.
So like there, as I bought tabs. Like I spent like $50 on the game, but all of it was for tabs. Like literally every penny I spent was on tabs and stash. And it's funny because I think I've spent like equal amounts of money on Diablo and PoE. And it's just like I've played Diablo so much more. It just goes to show like if they would monetize properly, they could have made so much more money, man.
Speaking of tabs, so this is your first time playing Path of Exile after the affinities, right?
Yeah.
Now you can control click. What do you think?
I don't know if I use it. Explain the mechanic then. I don't know. Like you can control click to put stuff in the stash?
Yeah, like it goes to the proper tab.
Yeah. It didn't do that before?
No.
I didn't remember it not doing that. So I just inherently did it when I logged in. I just assumed because I know you can control click stuff to put it in the sell window.
Well, you can control click stuff to put it in your stash, but now they have affinity. So say you're clicking an oil, you're control clicking oil. It's not going to just go to the tab that's open. It goes to where it's supposed to be.
Really? I didn't pay attention to that. I didn't realize
you
it was
might actually have to set that. Yeah.
I guess because inherently it felt like do that. So maybe I have to set it though. But it seems like it's working the same as before to me. So maybe I'll double check it.
You have to set it.
Okay, I probably haven't then. Because I know I had some cards and I had some other things. And like if I clicked the cards and I was on my currency tab, it would just like either not throw them in there or it would throw them on that little bottom page where you could throw extra juice. And so I was like, oh.
Yeah, you need to have your chat show you to do that because it will change your life.
I'll look into it. Yeah, that'd be nice though. That'd be, you know.
But outside of that, so, Maven, which I know you haven't gotten the maps yet, but
no.
Has been really, really cool. It's another thing to kind of chase. So before you chase the conquerors. You want to spawn the conquerors and then get the conqueror influence and then fight the conqueror, and then you get all 4 and you spawn Awakener eventually. Okay. Which is always a cool thing to chase. It progresses your atlas and it gives you something to do kind of while you're just progressing your atlas and getting more and more maps unlocked. But now, per area, you basically accumulate boss kills and you go and fight the Maven after a certain amount. And the Maven is what gives you the skill points for the atlas skill trees. And it's been really cool because it's just another thing to kind of progress, and you can really like min-max your atlas. I think I'm only like 6 points in.
Maven?
Yes. Not Maven. No. Just the Maven fights.
Okay.
The witnesses.
And so when she witnesses, she's giving the boss extra skills?
Yeah, so you'll eventually, you run into her in the map and she'll witness the boss fight, and she gives them a set of things. She can like duplicate them. She can make them like crazy fast attack speed. She can like make them more tanky. She'll occasionally. So
she duplicates it. What does that mean? You're fighting 2 at the same time, or he gets rezzed?
2 at the same time.
Fuck that. That would suck.
But yeah, she can do a whole bunch of things.
Hardcore SSF, and like you're fighting some hard ass fucking boss, and she just duplicates them.
Yeah, and before I think the patch notes hit yesterday, but she sometimes casts stuff herself, and she'd have like this orb that would just, instantly fucking one shot you. So
just wreck you, huh?
Yeah.
Just done.
Just done.
Just done. There's already enough done mechanics in the game. You know what I mean? It's just
there's so many done mechanics. Yeah.
You're just a what? Like the thing for me is I'm streaming it so I can just go back and watch. I'm like, what just hit me? And now I'm like, oh, okay. I do see the thing now, but dude, that was so unnoticeable with all the other effects. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. There's still the one thing. There's the corpse explosion. I still, to this day, I've been playing Pee-wee since, vanilla. And since I've come back the last, maybe 2 years and played actually pretty hard, I still don't understand corpse explosion at all. So if anyone in chat, like you can't see, it's not an affix on mobs. It just happens. You'll be like fighting. Everything's right in the world. It feels good. You're killing stuff. And all of a sudden, a mob uses corpse explosion and you're fucking dead. So
it feels bad.
It's so frustrating.
That's something I dislike a lot and it seems to be really bad with ARPGs. I don't know why ARPGs have these just like insta-death mechanics so much, because realistically ARPGs aren't finesse micro-managed games anyways. Like it's not like you have a joystick well, I guess you do on console, but it's not like you have this finite control over your character. You're mouse clicking and trying to move your character, so it's already at a disadvantage compared to other like action games or other things. And it's like they're like, oh, if you stand on this one dot, you're instantly just dead. You know what I mean? So I would like to see them have more punishing mechanics that are visible and seeable and you understand, versus just like, what just killed me? I don't even.
It's awful.
I
agree.
So I will say that this is the first league that I really focused on getting my resistances up after you kill the Act 5 final boss and your resistances get cut in half. Like I started getting smashed, and till that point I was chilling. I'm like, oh, this is a piece of cake. And then I started getting smashed, and I got my resistances back up, and it was like, oh, I know what you guys are talking about, because I literally was like, okay, I'm gonna stand in everything and not flash just to see what happens. And going from like 30% resistance to soft cap of 75 on everything, and it was just like I didn't take damage. Like it was that crazy. So
yeah,
I'm sure for all you vets, you're like, yeah, idiot. But for new players, that I'm just saying, like any of the new players that are checking it out, because there actually has been a lot coming in my channel, like, oh, I'm new too. Like, how do I play?
Yeah, that's always my number one tip is
it's like it's so big.
Just play the game, and don't worry about like, oh, is this item good for me? Whatever. Maximum health, resistances. That's all you care about, literally.
Yep.
And you'll be fine.
Yep.
You might not do a ton of damage, but you won't fucking die like nonstop.
Yeah, dying nonstop feels way worse than doing less damage.
Yeah,
promise
for sure. So, so Maven's been super duper cool. It's been really cool to see Harvest come back, especially for someone that didn't play a ton of Harvest. It just happens inside of maps. You'll just open it, and sometimes we'll have like the little harvest pod in there, and you go in there, and harvest recipes are just absolutely nutty.
So how does it work now? I know how it used to work. It used to work, you get a seed, you go in, you plant your seed, you come back later, and the seed's harvestable if you have the juice pot, the juice dispenser hooked up. So is it like, how do they micro all that in one thing?
Right. So the way it works now, at its bare minimum, right? This is before you can like upgrade parts of the Atlas or whatever to juice it up more. But you'll go in there and there'll be 4 gardens that are already planted to choose from, and you get to choose 2 of them. So you'll pick like you get to see what seeds are on one and what seeds are on the other, and you pick between the 2.
So the level 1, 2, 3 plants dependent on the difficulty of the map that you're in.
Probably.
Okay. I like the change so far.
And then you pick the one you want, and then you kill the plants, and it juices the thing in the middle, and then you get to do all the crafting recipes that were shown. Or it doesn't tell you exactly. It's like, oh, this can have chaos recipes, or this can have this type of, like, it doesn't tell you exactly
what your random ones, right?
Yeah. So and then you can store up to 10, and that's it. You can only store 10 things to craft on later on. But before, you would basically, how it worked before is you would like build a bunch of these like storing stations, and you'd have like thousands of recipes in your bank. That was like kind of a nightmare to navigate through, but it was really strong, obviously. So now you can only store 10, which has been a big challenge because there's some of them that are just like so good, and you're like, damn, like I can't save this, and I know I'm going to need this later,
right?
But there's something else that's just too good. So that's been
really nice. It sounds like they did a pretty good job of integrating it into the base game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I will say that, like, you know, I like that it's very rare right now because it is like very time consuming to get a harvest because you're sitting there and you're crafting and you're looking at the recipes and you're like thinking about your gear and blah blah blah. Like it's like a good 10-minute minimum experience.
Yeah, that was the problem I had with Harvest League, is it definitely killed momentum. Like just your momentum crashed. It was like boom. But I will say that Ritual League semi does the same thing at a lesser level, because if you're running around and you're going through, and then like you'll find the exit to wherever you're gonna go, and you're just like, dude, there's still two rituals on this map, and there's something like I need to defer this item, or I need something. I've definitely had to explore the rest of the map to find the rituals because I didn't want to lose the things that were on there, you know? So although it's still killing stuff, so it's fun, but it definitely can derail you a little bit too.
Yeah, I think that's a campaign specific thing though, because if you're in maps, you're like full clearing anyways. So
yeah, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely felt that a couple times. It's like, damn it, I don't want to be in this. Like, I just want to. That was the thing that was really tough for me to do on Ritual. Like, it took me like, I don't even want to like say out loud, but it took me like 15 hours to get through the campaign this time around, and that's pretty bad. I mean, for someone that's been playing a long time. Yeah. But I was doing the ritual like every fucking time. Like, I just wanted to do the ritual, and that takes
and it's
so much
for me too, because I wanted to figure out the mechanics exactly. I'm like, how does defer work? How do I get more juice? But just like I was literally pulling trash to the totem before I killed it all to see if it would give me more. I'm like, does it make a bigger blood pile on it? Like, do I get more things if I do that? So I was just testing, and that's the fun stuff to me, is like, you know, figuring out shit, because I easily could have gone and watched somebody's video or looked at Reddit or something and seen like, this is exactly how it works. And I'm like, oh man, let's just figure it out. Like, it'll be fun. Yeah. So, but yeah,
some of the other unseen things, like there are a couple of hidden things that were like really nice surprises. One is that, so obviously you saw the Atlas skill trees, and those are just amazing in and of themselves. But there's like a secret one at the very end, and like Dawn the Crown posted a video on it. Basically, if you kill Maven, like with the Awakener Atlas, or I don't even know how it works, right? But you get like a center skill tree, and those rewards are like, holy crap! You're gonna be able to go Awakener 9 if you get like the center circle stuff, which is insane.
Does Awakener 9 exist?
Not now, but it will after you get the thing, which is insane. It's like another thing to like progress and build through, and all the other rewards on it are like, oh my god, like just insane. But this is like brought up something that I thought was really interesting. So the more you play, I think that these are like really smart chases, right? So Diablo, you've got Paragon, right? And obviously Diablo 3 Paragon is at the time seemed like a good idea, but has turned out to be like one of the worst end game systems ever designed.
Hindsight's 2020,
right?
Yeah.
But I think that was really interesting. So PoE's done it. So like, yeah, you're going to be spending tons and tons of time like grinding out the Atlas and getting these skill points and really min-maxing your character. And, that is Path of Exile. But like, you ultimately are just getting more rewards instead of like, I'm not specking. There's no part of the Atlas that I'm specking that's going to give me more damage or make my character more powerful.
Okay, so it's just giving you better drops.
Yeah, but it's not like, you'd say better drops and I'd be like, oh, gross, because like, I'm someone that hates like magic find gear, stuff like that.
Right,
like, I've always really hated that. But the fact that it's like it's built into a tree, it's something you're like, it's late game progression. You're like kind of like it's another carrot for you to chase. I do think that there's a lot of big brain behind that, and I think that that's something that ARPGs should definitely be gearing towards instead of like just giving you more power.
Yeah. It's I can't really attest to the Atlas stuff yet because I haven't experienced it. Hopefully soon, but I will say that you made a comment. It was the last podcast or a podcast where you said the more you play it, the more you like the game. And I'm not saying I'm in love with PoE, but I will say that I'm having more fun this go around than I have ever had in any of the past ones. You know what I mean? I found myself actually like wanting to play the game off stream and stuff. I'm just like, oh man, I woke up. It was Saturday. I was chilling. I was like, I got an hour to kill. I'm gonna go play PoE for a little bit. You know what I mean? And that shit never has happened before. So it is fun. I will also double down on my statement that mechanically, the game is subpar. Like this game, if they could somehow, when PoE 2 hits, if they can really nail. And it's even hard to even say mechanically what's not even there. But it's like if they could make this play like Lost Ark or play like even more polished like D3, it would just be like, okay, they've done some magic. Like I really hope that PoE 2 brings a new interface and some new mechanics. It's got to bring a new interface, but some new mechanics that just make it feel better, feel more smooth, feel more fluid, I guess.
Yeah.
So
and then the thing with that is like I don't know that there's a ton of players that play this game that love this game that would disagree with either of those points. But when you consider the alternatives, right? Like, would you pick amazing fluid combat but nothing to do?
Yeah, no, not at all. Like, if you had to pick, this is the better of two evils. Right. You know what I mean? It's like neither one's the perfect choice, but the more you play it, and it's just like, if you're an ARPG fan, like, I think back when we started the podcast in episode 1 or 2, it might have been debatable what the best ARPG on the market. If somebody came into our streams back in May of 2018, we would have been like, D3, right?
Yeah, probably.
And I think we probably would have been confident in that answer. But now, I don't think I could say that. I think I would be lying if I said that right now. I think if somebody asked, I'd have to be like Path of Exile for sure. Like, it's not, I mean, there's so much to do, so much to learn. Game, and I just tell them the same thing. I'd be like, from a mechanical standpoint, it's not the best. It's not the number one mechanically, but for every other aspect, loot, customization, skill tree depth, like all the stuff, it's free. Like, you don't even have to spend money on it to try it. So
yeah. I will say the Maven fight looks really clean. Like, I was actually like somewhat impressed. The Awakener fight I still think is messy, and there's a lot of things I don't like about it. But it seems like the Maven fight, I haven't fought her myself, so maybe check back next week. But it seems pretty good.
Some of the stuff happened, like an example of like the mechanical thing is like, so I'm playing Lacerate Gladiator, and in that you have like a slashing attack that looks like like a fireball. It's not like a fireball, but Guile's Sonic Boom, honestly, from Street Fighter.
I played last Glad.
But then so you're using Leap with it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like Lacerate attacks very, very quickly, but there's still like this weird Leap it's not clean, man. Leap doesn't, it's like sometimes it's just like on D3, it's just not a clean mechanic, and maybe that's just the way it is. Like, if you're trying to avoid damage and you've been lacerating, like sometimes it'll jump instantly and sometimes it won't jump at all, and you have to like double press. Sometimes it's like you leap to a spot and he doesn't even fucking go close to the spot. You're like, what? You know, like
There's
those
a rock.
are the mechanical
There's a rock on the
things.
ground. Right.
Yeah, it's like but there's nothing there visually. You're
Right.
just like, we're like, what the hell, man? And then sometimes you can jump a huge creek, and then the next time you can't jump over like the smallest little thing.
Yeah, I think a couple things that PoE doesn't convey to you, and I'm glad you brought this up. Like, one is like there's that weird like, oh no, there's a stupid pebble, there's a penny on the ground, and I can't leap over that. Like that's ridiculous. But two is, you know, it gets so much better, which is, I know, hard to like. So like eventually you're gonna get leap, and you're gonna link it with the faster attacks, and it's gonna be a 20 quality gem. And when you get 20 quality, it gets even faster, and it's just it becomes so much better of a skill when it's like done versus like when you start with it. It's like, ugh, I hate leap. Like it's awful.
Yeah, I do, man. I hate it. It's such a bad movement skill.
Which is so weird. Like it just seems like, I don't know, somewhat. I guess it's not counterintuitive per se, but it gives you like a false impression of like how good something can be.
Yeah, but to me, it's like a little polish would fix it though. So like consistently allow me to leap over items, like the penny on the ground, for example. Like find a way to path that out and make it work properly, like it should, and more consistent. Like if I know I can't leap over certain things, that's fine. And I guess you learn those eventually, but it's not glaringly obvious at times for a new player. And then like sometimes the delay is there and sometimes it's not. And I don't even know. I don't have an explanation for that. Like it's just like, you know, I'm slashing, and then I hit the button and I just triple press. I'm like, hold on. Like, I want to make sure I get this leap.
So this is the other thing I was going to bring up that I think PoE does a terrible job of explaining. So every skill, if you click on the skill, there's this tiny button that's always attack without moving. And you have to like enable that. But the game doesn't tell you about that. It doesn't tell you anything to do with that. But this makes it so like it's actually going to go, you know, like where you actually tell it to, instead of like sometimes it'll wait till you're done moving to cast it versus like just doing it all the time.
Maybe. So I'm a habitual, I hit shift to attack, and it's a learn D3s thing for me. Yeah. Anytime I attack on D3 and in PoE now, it just habitually I press shift because I'm like, I want to attack. So shift, stay still. And then I also force bound walk in PoE to a different button besides left click as well, because that's what I do in Diablo. So I don't usually have issues with that, but it could be it. So I could check that skill. So run through that real quick. What do I do?
You just literally click on the skill, and then there's a tiny little checkbox that's always attack without moving.
Okay, and that's on your main skill page. Okay.
On any skill you click, it's gonna have it. Like I don't have it right now for my totem.
Okay, it's independent for every skill, even
because some skills you actually want to have it not enabled for, and you just kind of feel that out. But
okay, we'll try that and see if it feels better. But those are things like and it's these little mechanical things that they're not big, right? Like I'm literally nitpicking the game right now, but I'm just saying, you know, as a player that's played other games like, you know, Lost Ark is number one. Like Lost Ark mechanically felt consistent and good, even with the shittiest ping. Like I'm playing on Russian servers, and the game still felt phenomenal. I'm just like, dude, if PoE played like this, oh my god, it would be hands down like the best game of all time. Best games, period, of all time. Not even just ARPGs. It would be like video games, you know. So
it'd be insane.
So I hope they nail stuff like that with PoE too, man. I hope that they can even just a little polish goes a long ways, you know. So.
Yeah. You know, speaking of Lost Ark, I've been kind of following season 2 a bit and like keeping up to date on stuff. And man, I really don't like most of the things that they changed with season 2.
Really?
They changed the cards to be, it's no longer like a card game. They're just like stats, but they're like set bonuses. So like if you collect cards and you put on a certain amount of a different card family, it gives you like a set bonus. And I hate sets, and then and then they give you like main stat.
Did they ditch that energy system, or is that still a thing?
What
like they were for season 2. I thought they were doing like an energy system.
No, I'm pretty sure that's still a thing. There's a currency you need, the
mobile style thing. So yeah, we'll see. We'll have to see how it hits NA. I hope that they change some of the monetization practices. I don't know. Amazon scares me though, dude. You know,
for sure. Rightfully so. Everything they've touched has turned to shit.
And they're greedy. Like look what they're doing to Twitch, man. Mid-roll ads. Like we probably get mid-roll ads right now. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. It's crazy stuff, man. So
the other thing is, like,
yeah, what else?
There's one more thing that I've been like, oh my god, this is amazing. So maps can now drop with like implicits. Not like usually the only way to do that would be like delirium, but now it'll be like map will tell you like, oh, it has a guaranteed blight encounter and stuff like that. I really love that. That's been like a surprise.
So what
I wasn't expecting.
With like blight or harvest or
like all the things as far as I can tell. So you can now before
like the leagues, like the league mechanics on them, or can they drop like other things, or is that it?
Yeah, league mechanics.
Because I don't even know what's in the pool of implicit.
There's a lot of leagues. Yeah. So that's been really, really cool. And I wasn't expecting that whatsoever. Awakener now can like summon himself like in your map, which I guess was like really rippy until they nerfed it yesterday. But that was like something I wasn't expecting at all. So
you're just mapping, chilling, and then Awakener shows up out of the blue for no reason.
Like die beam or I don't know, like some crazy shit.
Like
no, I'll just like, just fuck with you.
Fuck you up and leave.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, that's cool though. Yeah. It kind of like is like, oh, eventually for people like me, I'm like, this is the asshole that's been messing with me all the time. Like, get him, you know, when he finally gets him.
I think that they're trying to, I don't know, from like a lore perspective, they're trying to instill that like that's the guy, right? Because the first time you see Awakener is like Awakener, basically. You don't see Awakener before you finally done all this work to get Awakener to spawn. And it's like, oh, this is the guy I've been chasing the whole time. Nice to meet you. Like, and then he's right. So there is that. Like, I'm sure, like, you know, Diablo's storytelling is like, you know, right? Like, there's everyone's
does
like,
this game have lore? Like, there's a story in this game.
There is, I guess.
I don't know, man. I've never listened to any of it.
No.
Like, as a matter of fact, like, you know, when you go talk to a vendor, how they have like the character names and you click them and it starts talking about shit and text scrolls on the screen. I click them and hit space to close it just to unhighlight them as fast as I have to. It's a OCD thing where I have to act like I've read them all. So I just go through every vendor as soon as the first time I hit them. And I'm like, okay, clicking through all the names. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I don't have any idea what the story to me for PoE is. You wash up on the shore, you go to town, and some dude's like, hey, will you go get this thing for me? And you're like, yep, sure. And then you're just everybody's bitch from there on out. They're like, hey, I need you to do this. Hey, I need you to do this. And you're just, oh, sure, I'll do it for you. I'll do anything.
Deliver this to the guy right next to me. What the fuck, dude? Just walk.
Right. He's right there, dude. See that town portal thing? Click it. It's like you can go visit for free.
No.
So,
but so it's funny because, you know, when I consider myself as a Path of Exile player, you know, I'm pretty knowledgeable at this point. I've been playing for a while, and but then I just get reminded of how big of a noob I am, which is kind of terrifying in some regard because I've been playing for like literally hundreds and hundreds of hours. But so Alkaiser, so they did the race, right? So Ziz did this, you know, first to kill Maven, boss killing league, basically race that's going on right now. And Alkaiser, former Diablo player, killed Awakener in like Awakener 8 in under 29 hours. Which is like, I know you don't know how to quantify, but like I haven't even spawned Awakener yet.
Yeah, like, and he's done it 8 times.
Yeah, which is just like I can't even wrap my head around that.
Because I put a lot of hours as a new player into just trying to get Awakener 0 or 1 or whatever the first one's called 2 leagues ago, and it was, I mean, I put some time in to figure it out, and I was working towards it, but it was just like, this is a lot of work, man. You tell me people do this shit a billion times a league, like
crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm starting to like get to the point where like, okay, I could do campaign in like 5 hours. Like that's decent. You know, like the good players do it in like 2 hours. So it's like, oh, you know, double their time. Like that sounds bad. But then to think about like, oh my God, it's taken me like 2 weeks plus to spawn Awakener 8. The first time, and these guys did 29 hours or something like that.
Does it get faster on multiple times, or
there's like a way to big brain it? But by big braining it, you would also have to go into using something you knew was like, so like obviously there's skills that are super meta, and Path of Exile there's going to be like that pool of like 5 to 10 builds that are just like
crazy stupid.
Require zero investment, and they're gonna be really, really strong. And so you gotta use one of those first of all. But two, like there's ways to like big brain your Atlas progression so that you're like locking yourself into the maps that you need to progress yourself faster. Like whereas my strategy has been like, oh, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna run maps, and then every single time you complete the map for the first time, you get like Atlas progression that gives you like better drops and stuff like that. And so that's kind of been my strategy every time, and I think that's how they mean you to play the game. But yeah, so it's wild that I didn't even know that was like because it took like the last league where they had a race to kill Awakener 8. I mean, that took like 6-7 days.
Yeah, because he was brand new and it was like super buggy and overpowered, I think, right? Yeah. So it was Alkaiser doing this on hardcore SSF too, right?
Hardcore SSF.
Yeah, hardcore too. So not only was it 29 hours, but he did it on hardcore too.
Which is fucking crazy.
That means he probably didn't die the entire time, I would imagine, because if he ripped and had to restart.
I think he actually did rip really early and went from a crash, but
yeah, man. Could you imagine being hardcore with those restarts?
This league, I would have been done instantly. I would have been killed so many times.
Yeah, I'd been like, fuck that.
But then on top of that, a player Darky actually killed Maven. So Maven's dead already after, gosh, day 2.
Spoiler on screen.
Yeah. And this is the Maven fight, so this is like pretty poggers. But
the bridge, there's a circle sphere you're standing on, keep corroding away. That'd be cool if it kept breaking apart.
There's a lot that goes on in this fight.
You see the bite taken out of the right side? Like,
yeah.
It'd be cool if they took more bites out. Maybe they will.
It happens. I don't spoil anything for the fight for you, you know. But
right, I'm gonna get there.
You are
here. No.
Yeah. Okay. You just heard it, guys. Maven fight guaranteed from PChild. Wow, that's gonna be really cool.
Joke. Not a good joke.
To go from not having ever killed Awakener and you're gonna commit to killing Maven. Good for you, man.
Yeah, I'm getting. Can I just join somebody's game when you're about to kill her? Sometime I can join you, right?
Yeah, SSF, totally.
Just load in. Well, you gotta kick your character out right before you get there. Yeah,
I'll migrate just for you.
Yeah, no, I'll call. Yeah, I'll call Lindsay up and I'll be like, "Hey, Fluff asked me to have you do something real quick. Go in there, click migrate."
Be pissed.
Oh man, that'd be funny. Hit some hidden camera. You seen those YouTube videos where like the girlfriend throws the PlayStation in the swimming pool and dude freaks out or whatever? You know, the World of Warcraft kid when the character, mom deletes the characters or whatever.
I hate. Oh my god, early Fluff hates all those fucking like Facebook or YouTube videos or like the couples that are like pulling pranks on each other's, but they're so incredibly staged. God, they're so cringe. And people just click them.
They're totally fake pranks that aren't real.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like millions of hits, and people are like, "Lol, oh my god, this is so funny. I need to like this is fake as shit, dude."
Right. There's like ones where they have like the prank and somebody's obviously recording right there. It's like, like do you have somebody recording you like normally? Like when you walk in a room and you see a camera, you don't just, I don't know, man. It's dumb.
It's so dumb. So people eat that shit up.
Have you watched, so I know you watched The Challenge. I've been watching The Challenge this season because my wife loves it and it's been pretty funny. But MTV has another show on with Paulie and Vinny where they prank people. Have you seen that prank show that they have on there too?
No.
It's decently entertaining. Some of the pranks.
Jersey Shore, is that what you just said?
Yeah, the Jersey Shore guys, they prank people. So like what they do is they'll take a couple that's been virally pranked, like the boyfriend pranks the girlfriend and gets like 1 million hits on YouTube or whatever, and she wants to get him back. And so like they reach out to the show and then they help him stage a prank. So they had this prank where this guy, the girl pranked the guy and acted like she was going into labor because she was pregnant when she wasn't, and he freaked out and she had a hidden camera and recorded it and put it on YouTube, got a couple million hits, and he was pissed off, right? It's like, I gotta get her back. So he's a skydiver, so like they set up this prank where his parachute doesn't open and he splats on the ground like at the thing, and it was pretty elaborate, but I was just like, dude, that prank's too far, man. Like literally this girl was like for real like dying because she's like, she thought her boyfriend just splatted on the ground. You know what I mean? Like it was fucked. Oh.
That sounds pretty fucked.
Total derail for no reason, but
wouldn't expect anything less from the guys that were on Jersey Shore.
Yeah, it's entertaining it. So So if your girl's into that stuff, though, I'm just saying, like, you can watch it with her. It'd be a little, some bonding time with you, and you could be like, "Hey, it's the Jersey Shore guys. Don't you like these people?" Yeah.
Nice.
What else do we have for PoE, man? Have we got any more juice we want to talk about before we get into that was kind of your hate segment. We segued into.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, like I'm so fucking addicted to this game right now. It's so good. I think that everything in this league plays insanely well together. Ritual is just a good synergistic mechanic with, like I said, like Delirium, and the fact that you can go into a map and, oh cool, I hit Delirium, and then you're running around doing the Delirium and you're killing like strong boxes, and you hit the rituals from a Delirium, and then like, oh, there's a blight mechanic, and oh, by the way, there's some delve soul fight to gather, and oh, by the way, there's like Legion to click
in the game, and that's what makes it fun. Like when there's a lot of ADD in the game and you're just like, oh, I gotta go do this, I gotta go,
it's insane.
But it's one of those things where you don't really hate it, though. That's what they've won, you know what I mean? That's when they're like, oh. Because for me it's like, I'm leveling up or I'm doing whatever, and then I see the sulfite deposit and I'm like, oh shit, well, I guess I gotta go delve now, you know what I mean? So
exactly. And it's like fun. There's so much stuff to do. And like, even a player like me that's just like, I'm like, what was I doing? What am I? Because you're pulled in like 1,000 different directions at all times.
Did you get any bots messing with your Twitch chat? I had spammers come in my chat for the first time. Like I only have this in PoE directory, I swear to God. So, but I had people come in and
used
just
to it.
Like hundreds of people that just spam the chat so fast that everything's flowing off, and it's like, maybe 10 guys. So I'm like, okay, follower only mode, and like, you know what I'm saying? It's just it's so stupid though. But it's only happened to me in PoE's directory. It's like, what? Like, why? Of all the game, maybe it happens a lot more in more popular game directory.
I think
maybe
not in a dead game directory.
All the games though, you're spamming PoE. Like, come on, dude. Like, go back to Fortnite.
I mean, this league had some pretty crazy turn up. Yeah, some numbers.
It's funny.
I'm excited to see you kill Maven. You committed to.
Yeah, for my PChild loves, there's some new movie announcements that have come out.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do a love hates first off.
Uh-oh.
Because I watched the new WandaVision. Marvel.
Okay, don't spoil.
I'm not gonna spoil anything. Well, can I give my opinion of it? Is that a spoiler?
No, because you said I love this show and I watched that and like, no, that sucks. So I don't like.
Don't lie to me.
What? That's been a couple that you've recommended. I tried the Wolves. I thought that was
Raised by Wolves,
and then the High Castle. The High Castle. We tried that.
You didn't like High Castle either? Yeah. So you got bad taste. That's okay. I didn't. I mean, I thought it was pretty bad, man. I suffered through the first episode, and I was like, "What the f did I just waste my?" Like, my wife looked at me, and she goes, "You don't ever get to pick a show again. That was the dumbest shit I've ever seen." like it was, and I was like in agreement with her. It just, I don't know if it was that. It wasn't what I expected, and I'll leave it at that. I would be super curious. For people that are listening, you can DM me, tweet me, post it in the YouTube comments, wherever you're watching this at. I'm interested if you liked it. Don't spoil anything. Just be like, I loved it. I hated it. It was okay. Whatever. Because am I in the minority? I can't be, right? It was so bad, Fluff. I want you to watch it just so I can hear your opinion.
Wonder Woman 84 bad?
Like worse.
Oh my God.
Like I would rather watch Wonder Woman 84.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
So maybe it changes. Like I'm just debating now. Am I going to stick it out? Am I going to watch more episodes and like see if it changes or what? But I'm curious, at least what some of you guys think. Everybody should at least watch the first episode to see if you agree with me, because maybe I totally in my mind was expecting something way different, and because I didn't watch trailers, I guess, and so I thought it was going to be this thing, and it was something completely different. So maybe I need to go back and and redo it. So, but that was the hates portion. I'm rolling that into the loves though, because they announced a new Mortal Kombat movie and Matrix 4. And so,
gross,
did
both.
Did you ever watch the old Mortal Kombat movie back in like 90,
Of course, but it's garbage. Why would they announce a new one?
That movie like a billion times.
Oh my god!
I had like one of the high-tech VCRs back in the day.
High-tech VCR.
Yeah, it would like replay the movie, it would rewind it and autoplay it again.
Wow.
You know, so I go to sleep every night with Mortal, because I had like 10 movies, so it'd be like Mortal Kombat every night, just keep playing over as I slept.
That's why your subconscious is so messed up.
No, I'm excited for the new MK movie, man. I played. Did you not play Mortal Kombat a lot as a kid growing up, man? I played so much Mortal Kombat. That was like a huge game.
Vividly remember Mortal Kombat like arcade stations. But I don't. I played it a little bit on Super Nintendo, but it was like the not blood version, so everyone thought it wasn't cool.
Yeah, Genesis had the blood.
Right. And I never had a Sega.
Yeah, like I had a buddy who was like spoiled rich kid, and his parents actually bought him the stand-up arcade. He had the arcade at his house. Yeah, it makes no sense, right? Like this, everybody or most people know that one guy. He was that guy, right? Yeah. And he's like, "Mom, I really," and so he had MK1 and MK2 arcade machines in his house, and so I like it was such a huge part of my childhood growing up. Like we played it thousands of hours. You know, it was insane because we had infinite quarters, man. You could just sit there and just go ham. But we had some really good times. But so they made a new MK movie. I'm hyped for that. Matrix, the original Matrix, is a phenomenal movie, man. I love it. Yeah. 2 and 3 are possibly the worst movies ever made. I tried to rewatch 2 like a year and a half ago. I'm like, okay, time's gone by. Let me see how bad this movie is. And I put it on, and I literally couldn't even watch it. I was like, this is a waste of my life. I would rather do anything than watch this movie right now.
They're so bad.
So I turned it off. It was so bad. I can't believe that they actually produced that garbage. So anyway, Matrix 4, hopefully, cross your fingers, it'll be good. I don't know much about it yet.
As long as it like forgets all the canon from 2 and 3 or something like that, maybe just reboot.
You just reboot the whole thing. Is Keanu Reeves going to be in it? Are we going to have Neo? I don't know, man. Are we going to have Lawrence Fishburne, who's like old and fat now? Like, you know.
Yeah, who knows?
Yes, man. At Morpheus. Wait, did he die in those movies?
I don't remember.
I don't remember 2 and 3. I know he did in 1, but let's get into some Twitter questions. If you guys want to submit questions to the podcast, you can tweet at ThaPChild, at Lord__Fluffy, or in our Discords. We both have Ask New Meta sections. The first question comes from Onion. Onion says, with how poorly Cyberpunk 2077 turned out on last-gen consoles, do you think Blizzard will still release D4 on last-gen hardware? I think so. And the reason I think so is because they sold a crap ton of last-gen hardware. They will probably drop it on Switch. I would be surprised if it doesn't come to Switch. Maybe not initially, but I think it's just the more places they can get it, the better. And it seems like they're designing it from the ground up with console in mind, with the UI, which is kind of scary and bad. But that's a thing. And so I think it's going to obviously hopefully be better on next gen than old gen. But they sold like 80 million PlayStation 4s and 35 million Xboxes and 60 million Switches. So yeah, I think it will. So
yeah, I mean, Blizzard's a business that is more, I think, of a business than a gaming company these days, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I think that none of us really have a firm grasp on, like, yeah, for us PC audience, we're such a small minority of the Diablo population, right? Like you get on Twitch and you're like, oh wow, Diablo 3 has 2,000 viewers in the directory and mega lol, or like I'll stream and be half the directory or whatever. But like that fraction of players is not an actual representation of the amount of people that are playing Diablo 3.
I don't know numbers, but I've definitely asked while we were at BlizzCon. I said, what's the relationship between player and console, or PC and console player base? And the person I asked knew the numbers, and they laughed and they were like, console smokes PC. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that says a lot, but I don't know. I don't,
So it's easy to sit here as, people that are on Twitch and people that are really into PC games to be like a mega lol. I can't believe Blizzard's doing these decisions, but the fact of the matter is we're probably a minority.
You think console's a smaller audience? Or not a small audience, a smaller not as hardcore in Diablo, not as not as.
No, I wouldn't even say that. I just would say that like Twitch is probably a predominantly PC space.
Yeah, with you on that.
And so
where I think YouTube's more of a console space where people are going to go to YouTube, I think, a lot for everything. But I definitely think console gamers are more in a habit of, hey, I need a guide, I'm going to look at YouTube. Or, hey, I want to see what is news happening with my game, I'm going to go to YouTube. And where PC people still do that too, but they're going to hit Reddit and they're going to hit the forums and they're going to check other spaces as well. So, like for me personally, when I was looking for PoE guides, I looked for YouTube videos of gameplay to see what the build played like. And then if I liked that build, I wanted a written guide for when I was actually playing it though. I didn't want to have to keep watching YouTube videos the whole time. I didn't want to have to unpause and listen to a YouTube video about what gems do I need. I want it written where I can just alt tab, hit the website I need, and it's got my gems with the links right there. You know what I mean? I want to read where I'm supposed to go. Like if it's like, hey, go to Act 1 and go kill this person or do this quest. It's easier to read that and get back to my own gameplay than to sit there and wait and try to find that segment in a video.
So you wanted like a leveling guide baked into the build, basically?
That's originally what I started with, but I couldn't really find what I wanted. Like, so the one of the smoothest times I had was when I played the was it called the Arc Wizard?
Anki Arc Witch.
Arc Witch or something like that.
Yeah.
And so like when I started playing it a couple leagues ago, people were like, "Oh, that's a meme build. That's not real or whatever." And I'm like, "Okay." And I played it, and the guide for a brand spanking new player with nobody to help them was phenomenal. It was like, go here, do this, go here, do that. It didn't teach you how to play the game really, but as a first experience, I definitely think that's a great experience because you can see the potential of the game. You can see, like, you can experience a lot of things. So when I went through this time, I was like, all right, let's find a guide that holds your hand. And I couldn't find one for Lacerate. It was like, hey, get these gems and do these things, but it doesn't even tell you where the gems come from. So I'm so new that I'm like, what level can I get this gem?
Yeah.
I don't know. Where does it come from? What vendor? What act is that vendor in? Like, I don't know those things. So for me, it became a pain point because then I'm like, okay, let's go the PoE wiki and figure out where this gem comes from. Oh, I can't use it till 48. Well, or 38 or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So I can't do that now. So now what am I? And so for me, I waste an hour because I'm just like looking about what gems can I get and what can I throw in and do. So
what made you decide Lacerate of all things?
It just looked cool. Like I literally picked my build based on the gameplay footage.
Gotcha.
I watched like 4 or 5 builds and I'm like, these all look really good. And then I kind of tabbed back through them and was like, all right, man, this one looks the coolest to me. I like it. It looks fun. It's melee. I haven't really played a melee. I mean, I played Cyclone, a little bit of a Cyclone build, one league with you, but it just looked good. So I'm like, let's do it.
Really good.
So
it's strong. It's not the best for leveling, but it scales really fast when you get to the end game.
Yeah. So it's been cool. And I haven't been in a race. I can definitely leap and zoom through the levels to complete the campaign faster if I wanted to. But I'm not in a hurry. Like I'm trying to learn mechanics and I'm trying to learn like how does this function and trying to figure out the gems and interactions and skills and things. So but it's been cool, man. It's been a fun experience. The build's really tanky if you itemize it properly.
Oh, yeah.
Like comparatively to other builds I've played, it's like I literally was standing in stuff to see if I could die. I'm like, I don't think these things could kill me even if I wanted them to. You know,
Steel has won multiple races with Lacerate Glider. I don't know if he's ever made a guide, but he would be the one. He's like the face of Lacerate.
Yeah, I saw a couple and they're all slightly different. You know what I mean? Like they're all very close, but I ended up going with one that I was like, okay, this explains some of the basics that I need to know that I don't get. So I'll follow these guys and do what they're saying. So, but it's been cool. It's been fun.
I tried to make a poison last rate and it didn't work out too great.
There's a lot of bleed baked into.
Yeah, I wanted to scale poison and bleed. Like, and I was like, wow, that'd be really cool. But like by buffing one, you hurt the other, and by buffing the other, you hurt. You know what I mean? Like, so like poison's all about hitting really, really fast and stacking tons and tons of poison, and bleed's all about like hitting really hard
and getting that big dot.
Getting that big dot. And so they're totally opposite.
Yeah, and it's weird, like, cause there's things like with this build that I'm playing where it's like baked in axes because you get all the bonus physical and all these other things.
You can't miss, I think, right?
Yeah,
that's the big one.
Yeah, you got to get the you can't crit, but you also can't miss,
right?
You know, and things like that. So
which is big.
But as a new player, you can't, like, you don't know those things, though.
Right?
Like I'm gonna be like, yo, this sword's the shit. I'm gonna put this sword on, and then you're okay. Now you just lost all those physical stuff. So it's like, well, could I just spec into swords? And you don't understand the thing. So that's why I wanted the guide that was kind of like, no, these are why you get these skills and why you choose them. And so, and then once you start looking at it, it makes sense.
Yeah, that's a great point too. And you know, that's why I was like, probably recommend the spell casters and the minion builds, because like accuracy rating is a thing in PoE, and it's a big deal. So like if you play Lacerate before you pick up the one that says you cannot be evaded, like you're just missing sometimes. And then if you're like, I life leech, but I'm not leeching any life. What's going on? Like I'm dying. Well, because you're missing all the time, and like I don't think that's exposed very well, because it's just like
it doesn't explain that a whole lot, and like something that, like, there's a lot of assumptions that a lot of these guides make as a new player, and we do it too in our Diablo guides, right?
Yep.
Because it's just there's so much knowledge baked in that you take for granted, but like as me, so like I'm playing Lacerate. And I go, okay, does my offhand damage matter? Does my offhand's attack speed matter? Do I want the highest damage weapon in my left slot or the right slot? Which one's the main hand? Which one's offhand? Does it even, like, where do you get that info? You know, so then you start Googling that shit, and then you're going down a rabbit hole there. And then it's like, okay, cool. So then this Lacerate guide didn't explain, or if it did, I glazed over it too quickly, but it didn't explain that, like, how am I bleeding things? So like you have your sand stance and your blood stance. Well, blood stance applies to bleed, but sand stance is what you should be in. And so I'm like, well, how the fuck am I going to bleed these things? Well, there's passives.
Yeah, passives get bleed.
But no, but they don't call that out. So unless you're going through and highlighting all the nodes on the talent tree, it's like, how do you know? So as I'm picking the nodes, and then I hover over one, and I'm like, oh shit, this gives me bleeds. Yo, that's where my bleeds are. So these things, and it's just like, because you haven't played, you know what I mean? So,
totally.
But it's cool. I think that's why it's been fun, is because this one isn't holding my hand as much. I had some very small basic knowledge. This one didn't hold my hand as much. I'm figuring stuff out, and it's been exploration. That's what PoE is, right? For 99.999% of people, it's learning the game. Like that's what are you doing in PoE today? Learning how to do something. You know, I'm going to class. So, you know. But you don't start with trig, man. You start with basic math. So like learn your pluses and minuses. That's what people, I can't even tell you, it's insane. I've only played it a couple streams, and I had so many people like, I can't get into the game, it's too complicated. I can't play, it's too complicated. And I'm like, fuck that, man. Just play the game. Like literally don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Play the game.
I think that people immediately put themselves up against like, okay, I watched the guide, I should be able to do that. Like, why am I not doing that? And like, it's just enjoy the game. You know,
I have lots of people come watch me and criticize my shitty gameplay because I can't play the game because they expect me to be good. And I'm like, so if I can do it, you can do it. You know what I mean? It's like I'm getting backseated, you know, 10 hours a day. So like it's not that bad. It's honestly not, and you'll end up having a good time. So I think for me, the hardest thing that I had to learn was what loot to look at and what loot not to look at, because even with the loot filter, like I'm using semi-strict loot filter, never sync semi-strict, and I don't know if that's even the right one. That's just what I went with, and it's like there's so much loot on the ground, and I'm still I think now I'm starting to get better at like, okay, I only need to grab these couple things that interest me, unless it's got a super big nameplate, then it means I probably should check it out. You know what I mean? So but at first, man, the first night I was like looking at way too much stuff, and I'm like, you know, I'm killing myself here.
And there's that, and then, you know, it took me like leagues, plural, to figure out. So obviously the loot filter for one, but then making one is like the next step, and that's a whole nother game. And then there's the whole figuring out path of building. That's a whole nother game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just compounds. It's actually insane.
Yeah, like I figured out path of building enough to import people's builds and save them, and then flip through their talent tree pages if they're nice enough to include those or notes. But to actually like make a build,
right?
I haven't even,
Tough.
you know, like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, no,
yeah.
that's not even, maybe in a couple years, you know.
Yep.
So, but it's been fun. I don't know, man. Like my overall consensus is, will I burn out in a week or two? Maybe, but I'm having a good time. I've had more fun this league than I ever have playing PoE. And that's a good thing. So if the cycle continues, I guess eventually, man, I'll just be like, PoE is the greatest. I'll be Fluff, little mini Fluff over here. Like, you should play PoE.
Yeah.
So, but we were getting into Twitter questions.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the hell we derailed so hard. So D4 on last gen hardware, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Rank 1 Civ 5 Assyria main, which I still don't know what that means, but you do, I guess. How much did you love those Venom Gyre buffs? And are you starting that this league? If you do start Venom Gyre, would you start Pathfinder or another Ascendancy?
That's a great question. So
let me tackle this one.
Okay. Go for it.
No, I'm totally joking.
Okay. I got this one. Yeah, so if you guys don't know, like they basically got rid of the added chaos damage on Venom Gyre and they increased the base damage that the gem gives by almost double. To be honest, it's hard to really know if it's really been buffed that much because I did start a Pathfinder because Assassin got hit so hard by the nerfs. And Pathfinder's always been the better class to start with. Assassin is that like high end, it has potential to beat the pants off the Pathfinder. But for starting, it beats like the living crap out of Assassin. So I just decided, because my plan is not to play Venom Gyre the whole league. It is to actually branch into other stuff. I just wanted to retry Venom Gyre and show that it's very viable early league, and it's definitely that. You know, we're flying through. You know, we're hitting red maps and super duper strong, and we have a lot of room to grow. We're still using wasp nests and shit like that. So, yeah, it's been good, but I can't really tell if it's buffed because Pathfinder's so good. So I guess ask again later. It's hard to know whether or not the buffs are hugely impactful because of poison prolif from the Pathfinder. I know that you don't know what that means, but
I don't. It sounds legit. Dirty Nap says, do you pour milk before cereal? If so, why?
No one in the right mind would do that.
Nobody does. I have actually seen people do this.
When?
I'm not 100% sure, but I think one of my kids actually did this for a while. And I was like, absolutely not. You pour your cereal first. We are not a savage in this house. But people do it. It's a thing, man. It is definitely a thing where people pour the milk first and then add the cereal.
This makes sense.
Yeah, definitely cereal, because you cereal up and then you pour the milk into your floaty so you get the float.
How would you know how much cereal? Like the milk proportion would be all off because you filled the bowl with the liquid first.
And you might, like, you know, depending on the amount of cereal, you sometimes want more or less milk. And, you're gonna wash it down. You know, some people don't drink the milk in the cereal. Do you drink your milk?
Of course, I'm not wasteful.
It's insane. My wife doesn't drink the milk. My kids won't drink the milk because my wife.
What kind of people are you raising to be a part of the society? What the fuck?
It's insane. I'm telling you, like she doesn't, and she's not alone. I've met lots of people that eat the cereal and refuse to drink the milk. They say the milk's nasty because it's flavored now. And I'm like, what? It's bad.
Wasteful. Wasteful.
Yeah, I get mad. My kids like start pouring a big ass bowl of cereal. I'm like, you better drink that milk. Like, I'm like, seriously.
Yeah.
You gotta do it, man. I don't know.
It's wild.
So it's like drinking black coffee. Who does that? So
yes, psychopaths.
I know, man. My coffee is milky white today. So Hex says, if you lost the internet for a few days, what game are you playing? I got a pretty easy answer for that because there's one on my backlog that takes no internets.
I don't even know what games I have that take no internets.
I could do...
Is Grim Dawn offline?
Maybe.
I guess I could turn on my internet connection on my game PC.
Don't do it now.
Not a stream PC. Offline.
I guess I could just end a podcast. Assassin's Creed Valhalla's single player, Cyberpunk single player, Persona 5 is something I really want to finish.
Hades is a good one.
Yeah, I've heard such good things about that. It was on sale the other day, and I almost bought it, but I'm like, I don't have time to play it. I
put it on your back burner, man. It'll be there.
I have so many on the back burner. I have.
What do you have on the back burner right now? I don't even want to add. Do I even want to know? Why?
Do you want to know?
Kill Awakener and then go to the back burner. What's on your back burner?
So I got Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I got to finish. Cyberpunk. I got to finish.
Cut it.
I said I want to finish Persona 5. We still got WoW. We still play WoW all the time.
Okay, that's fine. I'll allow it.
Okay. Like WoW's okay. We still got D3s in the cut. We have Miles Morales on PS5.
No,
got the PS5 sitting here. I don't even use it.
Got it.
What else do we have? I mean, that's like hundreds of hours in itself right there. I can probably keep going. If Destiny 2 expansion that I have and have played like 2 missions on.
Dead game.
Dead game. Not as bad as D3. So, but yeah, man, the back burner just goes and goes. But I would say I have so many.
What's it going to take? Like, jokes aside, what's it going to take to commit you to killing Awakener?
We'll see. I'm playing right. I streamed it today, man. Like, what do I gotta do to impress you? But
kill Awakener.
Okay, we're gonna have a new meta party after I kill Awakener.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll see.
Popping bottles.
Yeah. Hopefully it's still. Like I said, hopefully the game remains fun and I have a good time. So I am so far. I don't know what to tell you, man. What's the next one? Sadjo says, what are completely normal things that you feel embarrassed for doing? Taking a crap in front of somebody is pretty embarrassing.
Things you feel embarrassed for doing.
Everybody does it. What are completely normal things that you feel embarrassed for doing? It's got to be that. Like, I can't think of anything. It took me so long. Like, my wife always comes in the bathroom when I'm using the bathroom. Like, always. Like, our kid, somebody. Like, there's always somebody, right? Like, constantly. It took a long time for me to be comfortable with that and not care anymore. To just be like, all right. I'm talking years. It was years before I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I'm using the bathroom. Get out. Now I'm just like, I don't care. What's up?
Yeah, that's a big no-no in my world. Still, I guess that's embarrassment, but I wouldn't even call it embarrassment. It's just like common courtesy, I guess.
I don't know if it's like embarrassing to me. I guess it's like I'm sitting like that's a vulnerable moment when you're number 2. Sure. It's just weird. So if your girl walked in right now, you'd be like, "What are you doing? Get out!" Yeah. Like it would be a thing for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. I don't know what else. What else would be? The other thing would be embarrassing.
Do not know.
Is it embarrassing to you to admit to people that you play ARPGs? I
don't like. Let me be straight up. It's almost impossible to embarrass me. I'm
pretty hard to embarrass. I can definitely. Like, I've been around you enough. I could see, like, I have a pretty high tolerance. I think way higher than most people. To get embarrassed, it takes a lot. I definitely can see yours being higher than mine, though. Like, there's this, like, I would put myself at like, elite
Top
level,
10.
and then there's like pro gamer up here, and I would put you in the pro, making money off your inability to be embarrassed.
Yeah,
but yeah, I have a pretty high threshold too. But I don't know, man. I can't think of much else. I would say for me, I wouldn't want to sing in front of people for some reason. Like, I don't think I'm a horrible singer, but that's the thing. If somebody was like, "Hey, I want you to get up and do karaoke in front of," even if it's strangers, I would be embarrassed for doing it.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess getting put on the spot for doing something you don't feel comfortable doing is It's not something anybody wants to do.
But I could do it though.
Yeah.
I could. It's not like if somebody was like, go do karaoke, I'd be like, no thanks. But if they're like, hey, we'll give you $1,000, you go do it, I'd be like, bet. Where's the microphone at?
Right.
You know, like it's not like a impossible. It's just like oh man, I don't know. Crystal Gamer says, has a brand ever done something to lose you as a customer? If so, why?
Yep. Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A?
I will never ever eat a Chick-fil-A for the rest of my life. Even though they had delicious chicken sandwiches from what I remember. But
they are pretty delicious. There's one like literally walking distance from my house almost.
But I shouldn't have to basically make a political decision to hate gay people if I eat a chicken sandwich.
I'm with you.
So
yeah.
I stay away from them.
GameStop, man. GameStop is just immorally wrong in my opinion. Oh man, this whole PlayStation, like it kind of started with beforehand. I had bad experiences with ordering Switches. I ordered a Switch for my son for Christmas 2 years ago. Horrible experience. Never got any notification emails, called customer service. It was such a crazy process to get them. They canceled one of the orders and then didn't tell me that they canceled the order until like weeks later, and it was almost crunch time, and it was just so bad. And that was with the Switch, that after launch. It wasn't even like launch period. And then with this PS5 experience that I had to order it twice on launch night, which wasn't their fault that everybody started selling them early. But the first order didn't get, it got confirmed on the website, but I never got like that confirmation anything. And it just kind of felt off. So I ordered a second one and I'm like, I'll just cancel it later if it doesn't go through. The first one never even hit. Like I never got anything. The second one, I never got a confirmation email ever. Like never. I had to call, and then luckily the lady was like able to find my info and give me a tracking number or a order number. But then on top of that, they sold the PlayStations in bundles because they knew, like, they shipped every item to me individually. So it wasn't like it was in a box and they had to sell me the box like that Sony did. The PlayStation came in its own box. The game came in its own box. The controller came in its own box. Like, just like I went to Walmart and picked all the items off the shelf and threw them in my cart, right? So they were super, super sus about that, like making people buy these really expensive things. And then on top of that, what else? There was something else they did. Oh, they sent me an email saying that they canceled my order like a couple days before the PlayStation 5 actually shipped. Like, it launched November 12th or whatever. Like November 5th or something, they sent me an email saying, yo, your PlayStation order got canceled. Sorry, we overcommitted. And I'm like, what? And then like the next day, they sent me another email saying like, oh, sorry, that was a goof up. Yours is still good. I'm just like, oh my God, dude. So they're just scummy in general.
Yeah.
And I just don't like them. I don't want to give them my money ever again. So I would prefer to buy off of any other website or store.
I had a really weird customer service experience recently. I had my motorcycle has like a built-in GPS console unit that like mounts to my like frame basically, and it's built by Garmin. So like it broke. Like it stopped. Like the touch screens just stopped working. I don't know if it's from like sitting in the garage and it's really cold, as you know, here.
Pretty crappy hard maybe.
And it just like wouldn't work anymore. And so I opened up a chat with Garmin and I was like, hey, I have an F6. The screen doesn't work anymore. I think it might be because like it's really cold in the garage, like in my garage, or like I'm trying to troubleshoot why this could have happened because I don't want it to happen again. And the guy's like, here's the link. Like, click this link, and that's the form for RMA. I was like, okay, cool, but like, do you think it's because of this, or like, do you
have any technical notes at all? Yeah.
And he's like, I'm closing this chat now. Thanks. Like, fill out the RMA. And like, so I sent it in, and they sent it like back in like 2 days. But it's just like, I don't know. I don't have any better knowledge than when I sent it to them. They're just weird. I mean, it's like efficient, so I can appreciate that, but at the same time, it's like, I kind of want to know.
I don't know. Like,
right.
They just RMA it. Like, we don't really troubleshoot for real. We're just like,
but now I'm keeping it inside because I'm just guessing, because the last one I kept outside and it stopped working.
I don't think it should hurt a touch display. I mean, your garage isn't getting -40. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
below freezing sometimes.
Damage, like, I mean, I don't. That shield shouldn't damage. The only thing it could maybe do is cause damage to the battery.
Yeah, the thing's supposed to be weatherproof. I mean, I don't know.
If it's got a battery in it, you can use it when the bike's off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe the battery, but that wouldn't make the touchscreen not work if it turns on.
I don't know.
So that seems you just got a defective.
Or because I dropped the bike like 100 fucking times.
Really bad too. They got like an accelerometer in there, and they're
like, damn.
Wait a minute. There's like, wait,
dude, that accelerometer would have gone 20th.
Like you pulled like 9 G's all of a sudden out of nowhere. Did you wreck her? That's it, man. That's all the questions we had this week.
Easy.
If you guys want to submit questions to the podcast, like I said, drop them in the Discords or on Twitter, and we'll make sure to answer them live.
Yeah. Do you need me like, on call? Like, do you ever have Pee-wee questions that you feel like aren't getting answered?
Yeah, taking care of me pretty good.
Okay.
They're not backseating too hard, and if I need a question, I ask them, and they usually answer. And if I get super stuck, then I'll hit you up, man.
YouTube's calling me your Pee-wee therapist, so I just want to make sure I'm fulfilling your needs.
So, like, you're like a Pee-wee marriage counselor for me. You're trying to not divorce.
Trying to make that relationship work, and you're just. I feel like Pee-wee's giving you everything, and you are giving nothing back.
I'm giving in. And Pee-wee has fucked my sleep schedule up. Let me tell you. Okay, so last night I started playing and doing my thing. Normal stream time. Somebody in chat's like, "Wow, late stream tonight," and I'm like, "What? What do you mean?" And I look at the clock, and it was like 3 a.m. I'm 2 hours over my usual end time.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, oh my god, dude. But then on top of that, I still didn't want to quit. When I was like, well, can I finish this act? I'm like right at the end. Can I do this thing? And so, that's a good sign. Like if you're losing track of time, that's a good sign
for sure. Yeah. So going back to the email thing that we were talking about at the start.
Okay, what email thing? That okay, yeah, okay.
I was kind of blown away by mine.
Okay.
I mean, I guess in hindsight I shouldn't be, but I was just super surprised. So, first of all, obviously it said I had streamed more PoE than Diablo 3. And I was like, well, I guess I expected that because I played a lot of Diablo or PoE last year. Mm-hmm. But I guess I was surprised by the amount of how much more PoE I've streamed versus Diablo 3.
Okay.
I think like
it's for 2020.
This is
just for 2020, right?
Yeah. Okay. I streamed like 4.5 times PoE than I have Diablo 3. And I've streamed a lot of both.
Okay, so here's mine that's messed up. So mine says, like my top categories, Diablo 3 was number 1, followed very closely by World of Warcraft, like right on its butt. And then number 3 is Diablo 3 again. It doesn't even make sense. It's right? Diablo, wow, Diablo. Swear. I'm like, wait, what's going on? And then if I go to my viewer one, like you would get from watching channels, it's like your number 1 watch category, it said is World of Warcraft, which is not even, I never watch any WoW streams. Or, like I can't, so it must be from me like hosting or raiding people, and then it counts that time. That's the only thing I can think of. And then it's Diablo 3, which makes sense. And then it's Path of Exile. There's no Path of Exile streamers I watch but you. So it's like, okay, what, you and Dusky maybe a little bit, but I'm like, okay, so I go to my channels, and it's like your most watched channel is me because I have my stream up on a laptop to monitor it when I'm streaming, right? And then it's like second, Fluff. And that's it. There's no third. Did you get a third on that?
Yeah.
Mine were like so shitty, and I'm just like, well, where's my third? I've watched other streamers. Like, even if I only watched him for 1 hour, shouldn't he be on the list? You know what I mean? But there's definitely other people on there.
I don't think I kept my viewer one. I only kept the streamer one.
Yeah, but it's got my streamer one. It's got me as Diablo, World of Warcraft, Diablo. So it's like that's not even.
And me, Path of Exile by like insane, like again 4.5 times as many hours as anything else. And then Diablo 3, and then Lost Ark is actually not too far behind Diablo 3. I streamed a
Crazy.
lot of fucking Lost Ark.
Yeah, like I streamed a lot of Lost Ark in 2020 also. So like why, you know, I don't know, man. It wasn't on the thing though. So I don't know. Mine, I feel like mine got glitched, like it wasn't accurate. But you could pull the numbers yourself. Like Twitch keeps statistics good enough that you could actually figure it out if I really cared that much. But I was a little sad. I was like, man, it didn't even give me my third person. So it's just me and you, baby. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm loyal. I'm loyal to the brand. You know? So yeah, I think that's the pod, man. What time? What
11?
2 hours.
Yeah, I gotta get cracking on these maps,
2 hours
bro.
of PoE talk. God damn, something's happened to me. I gotta go to therapy. We gotta go to counseling.
That's me clapping for you guys that are only listening to the audio version.
Horrible. All right, man. I will catch you next week for the new meta episode 131.
131. Peace out, dude.
Everybody go watch WandaVision.
And go tell P to kill Awakener.
Tell me how you like it.
Smile. See ya.
Peace.